Okay, let's do the race recap. Today is a rest day for me, and so I thought it was probably more sensible to include something of hopefully of some value. So, in terms of the race, now as you saw, I went there a little bit earlier than I needed to make sure I could park. Parking seemed pretty reasonable. I don't know how bad it got closer to the event time. There were a couple of car parks that were labelled on the website, but they are public car parks anyway, and so people who were just going to Bushy Park, for example, just for a Sunday stroll, would have been parking in exactly the same car park. So that for me was absolutely fine, nice location. The weather itself was about 4 degrees when I arrived. Bit of a wind chill in the air. I was obviously wearing a t-shirt, and I did get a little chilly at the start. I had been walking around before that, as you know, but with a kind of a zippy on. So by the time I kind of had got myself prepared, ready for the race, there was a little bit of waiting at the start, and I did get a little cold. But that's my own doing. I could have worn gloves and things like that. But I knew it was due to get warmer, so I didn't want to be that person wearing too much. I was dressing for the temperature rather than the weather, so to speak. And it was so the beginning of the race was very interesting. Just before we got ourselves sorted, I was talking to a lady, and that's what's great about running. We were both kind of on our own there, and we did start talking initially about the weather, which is a typically British thing to do. But hey, it breaks the ice, and people can have a chat off the back of looking up at the sky. And so we were just talking, and we got to the topic of this wave situation, which I'm still completely baffled by. So the idea is they were going to call your wave number, and you were just going to go and line up in kind of like the holding pen. They were setting people off every 4 minutes. The thing about it confused me the most is that there was no obviously policing of that, so you could just line up whenever you wanted. The lady next to me was in wave 3, and she wasn't sure if she'd actually finished in the cut-off time, so clearly she was in sort of the wrong wave. There were no pacers at all, so when I went to line up in wave 2, I was just amongst people who had either been assigned wave 2 or decided to run in wave 2. So that being said, by the time we set off, you've got people running all sorts of different paces. Some people are slower, and therefore they're sort of in the way, and other people are faster, so kind of on your shoulder chasing you down and trying to overtake you. So it made it really awkward, actually. It wasn't the smoothest start. It took a few kilometres for me to really settle into it, because it was just really busy, and I didn't find my flow straight away, and also because of that, I then ended up running faster initially than I set out to do. Had there been pacers there, I would have stuck with the 2-hour pacer. That was my plan, and maybe it's my fault for not understanding or realising there wouldn't be any pacers, but that meant I was kind of on my own. But I got into a flow, and you'll see the stats up on the screen. I put it up on the screen now, so I'll just kind of talk over it. You'll see that I had some times, around the 5:20. Some were a little bit quicker, some a little bit slower. They're really fast kilometres. I blame the spectators, because all the high fives and calling out your name, that gets you going. And before I knew it, I was then looking down at a watch. I think it was a 5-minute kilometre that I did, and I thought I'll blame the guy to the left of me who was shouting my name like he knew me through a megaphone, which was really cool. Spectators were awesome. So once we got into it, we were running along by the side of the river, a lot of standing water, so you're kind of really mentally focusing on trying to avoid stepping in a puddle, because you don't really want to be doing that, even though some people it's completely carefree and run through it and splash everybody. But that might just be me being a bit OCD with the cleanliness. Anyway, so we went alongside by the river, got to a bridge, Kingston Bridge, ran over and ran back down the other side. The other side was completely paved, and it got me thinking actually what a great route it would be if you were training. It's perfect. And actually, if you do, if you kind of move over, there's a parallel road that runs alongside Hampton Court you could actually go on, so you could stay on a completely paved course throughout your training if you wanted to. There's no need to go onto the river, but I'm guessing in terms of mileage it's a slightly different distance. So anyway, we kind of went down that paved side of the river. We went underneath a bridge and kind of through a slightly residentially type area, but it's more houses that sit alongside the road. And then we did a bit of a U-turn. We came back towards the palace, and once we went over the Hampton Court Bridge itself, we then went back onto the river, so kind of returned to that same place we just run at the start. By this point, it was a bit of a mental game, because the distance markers are still there, so you're running past marker of mile 1, and it's kind of just the person next to me said, "Oh, that's not good for my self-esteem," and I completely agree. You think you're doing a great job, and you think, I'm sort of at like a mile 9, mile 10, then you see the mile 1 marker, and it just goes poof in your head. Where am I at? Where am I at? What am I doing? But so when we got back onto that river section, there was a guy on my shoulder, and we just sort of fell into a bit of an interesting flow. Every time he sort of got a little bit quicker than me, I just tended to naturally keep up, and when I was ahead of him, I could then sense him back on my shoulder again. I mentioned it in my video. I don't know who the person was, and it's a shame because I thought if we'd stayed a little bit close towards the end, I would have just given him a little bit of a tap and said, like, thanks, that was really, really cool just to kind of run alongside you. But he also had his headphones in as well, so it may have been that might have been me assessing that situation as it was. I felt really comfortable. It was a quicker pace than I'm used to, certainly over that distance. I wasn't aware of how close I would have been to a PB. So then the finish line was really good. The last part of the course, though, is over a field. There's no two ways about it. It's over a field, and I guess by the time I cross the line, I can't say where I'm in terms of placing, but let's say I'm in the first half of the field. That ground was only going to get more and more cut up, and it was muddy, and it was wet, and it wasn't particularly pleasant. I've actually got my shoes. I'm going to show you my shoes, but they're absolutely covered in mud. So it gives you a sense of, the course did involve a little bit of both for surfaces, and I'm pleased I didn't wear my brand new shoes because they would have been trashed immediately. Anyway, we got a goodie bag at the end. I want to open the goodie bag with you. I didn't even get a chance to have a look at it properly yesterday. So let's start off with the medal, which again I didn't even look at properly. There it is. That's a cool medal, nice weighty medal there. I like that. Palace Half Marathon in Hampton Court Palace. That's a good memento. It's a really good memento. I like that. It's a quality medal. Really pleased with that. Well done, Hampton Court Palace. And then we've got this little bag. Let's see what's in this bag. Of course, become a member of Hampton Court Palace. Fair enough. What's this? Oh, 2-for-1 ticket offer. There we go. Very nice. Thank you for that. What is this here? Love corn. Salty premium roasted corn snack. Oh, I see at the top my keyword, vegan. So not entirely sure what these are going to be like, but thank you very much for that. I won't be eating that. But lollipop. Interesting. It's a flapjack in a little bag. Ooh, no ingredients on it, so I don't know what's in that. I'll be donating that to somebody else, but thank you all the same. Aromatherapy oils. Joint Ace. Interesting. What else is in here? Lots of treats, which is always nice. Peanut butter slug. Don't know what that is here. Natural plant protein. Oh, alright then. That's cool. It's very good. Freshly roasted peanuts, no added sugar. Alright, okay, so we've got that there. Another sweet. Nope. Eat natural. Oh, these actually, I used to eat these quite a lot, but Animal Sultana. Not for me. I believe these have got honey in them, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, these have got honey. It's a shame because actually if these bars just took the honey out, I'm pretty sure they're vegan, but they continue to use honey, so I continue to not eat them. And I think that's it for the treats, and here is the t-shirt, which I haven't even opened. So it was really, really well organised. It basically kind of had extra large, large, medium, small. You just went along and just picked up the goodie bag. So the event itself was organised by Run Through, and I'm looking forward to pictures. Pictures are also free, which is good, but I didn't really recall seeing too many photographers. Like, I didn't know they were there, so I'm sure that most of the pictures I've got are probably me looking a bit goofy and not being as prepared as I was for Surrey Half, which is one of those pictures. And I'm sure at the end there was a guy taking photos, but that was me trying to vlog at the same time, so probably an awkward picture of me trying to hold my camera. Anyway, here it is. I actually can't see it now, I'm showing you, but let's have a quick look myself. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, so exactly the same as a medal, and you've got on running. Happy to endorse you. Free marketing on. So if you're watching, yes, I will take a pair of shoes just on a trial basis for me to keep forever. So that looks pretty cool actually. That's a decent, nice freebie Thank you very much for that. So that's a roundup. Oh, and also got one of these here. Anybody tried this before? Active. What have we got here? Alkaline ionized water, pH 9.0 plus, spring water. Hey, you know, purified spring water, unique blend of electrolytes, ionized. Charge up. So I drank some of this when I crossed the finish line. That's a summary of the race. I really enjoyed it. I'd certainly go back and do it next year. I am obviously a little bit aware of the conditions. If it had been, it's been raining all week. If it had been a lot worse than that, it would have been pretty unpleasant towards the end. So that's my recap. I was really pleased with how it went. You can see on Strava all the details about it, all my splits and what I did as an average. So it was a quicker race than I anticipated, but I actually felt very comfortable throughout. It wasn't anything that was too overwhelming for me. And yeah, well done Hampton Court Palace. Apart from the whole wave thing, I think you did a pretty good job. So I will hopefully be back next year. Catch you all soon.